I
Yeah.
could I could acknowledge Big Mike is amazing, and the fact is that he's out here trying to fight
Big
against us.
Mike.
So I mean, I have to go like the young lady said, we got to go street level. Like we got to go to the community. He's a part of my community. So yeah, there are people that I particularly didn't think that I would like that I'm willing to work with and give a pass to if I see they're doing good. So the answer is yes.
Okay, mommy. Um, one question: Do you not feel for the family when you stand there and cheer?
That he was going to jail.
I'm a cheer.
That he was going to jail. I tell
Yeah, I'm
you
a
how.
cheer.
Let me tell you what I did with the family. I didn't speak to the family all that time that I was there. A lot of people was approaching the family, talking to the family. A lot of people was fanning, was like, acting like, Christ came into the room every time the family member, when his children and his sons came in. I gave them my back. There was one time we were supposed to get on the elevator together. I didn't get on the elevator. I waited until they passed. Every time they passed me, I make sure I step 10 feet away so I don't make eye contact with them because I didn't feel that I needed to be in the same space with them because I disagreed with them 110% and their support. That's how I felt. And and you know that you don't agree with me, but that's how I felt.
That
Then then Chalucci. Then I met Chalucci. I didn't want to meet Chalucci. I didn't want to talk to Chalucci, but somebody introduced me to him directly, and I said hi. He said hi because I'm not gonna be if I'm in your face, I'm not gonna be totally disrespectful. And then after that, he asked me, do I have any questions? I said no, I don't have any questions for you. I said because I'm on the other side. He said, what do you mean by being on the other side? I said I completely believe that this in the survivors, and I think that Diddy is at fault and he needs to be charged. He needs to go under the jail. So he was like, okay, then I want to talk to you. I said, okay. I said, wait a minute, let's have this conversation on camera. We had the conversation. And the fact is that he gave me an insight about what he thought about it, and I gave him insight what we thought about it. And at the end, what I thought, and at the end, we both agreed to disagree. But ever since that conversation with him, we checked in with each other. Like, how you doing? How's the family doing? They doing okay? How you doing? How's the family doing? And I started feeling more empathy to the family. And I started looking at the family not as just an extension of him and his foolishness and the fact that they were complacent and the fact that they allowed him to do all this stuff. The fact that they knew that he was doing all this stuff to the ladies. They spoke to the ladies. They had the girls in the house. They saw what he was doing. I started thinking about them individually, like, okay, they love this guy. Like, he is their son. He is their father. He is a brother. Okay, now I need to chill. And I started to chill. And when I started to chill, that's when I became more comfortable being around the family and stuff like that. And then just yesterday, yesterday, was it yesterday or today? It was yesterday. Mama Combs was walking down the whole promenade by herself with this other lady and all the reporters. I'm like, yo, you know me. I stepped in. I said, you guys need to leave her alone. And I spoke to the lady that was him. I said, ma'am, you cannot have Mama Combs walk down the promenade like that with a lot of people because you don't know who everybody is. And she looked at me and she said, okay, thank you. I got that. I said, don't let her do that again. She said, yes, okay, I got that. And then I spoke to Chalucci. I said, Chalucci, you saw what happened with Mama Combs? He said, yeah, I heard. I said, you can't let her do that. He said, Mama Combs is not going to listen. She's going to do what she's going to do. I said, but you got to protect her at all course. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if I would have that conversation 3 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? So things move and things change, right? So I am able, you know, to change my mind, right? So I didn't feel so when he was found guilty, that doesn't mean that I did not believe he deserved it. And the reason why I reacted that way is because everybody in that courtroom, nearly 80% to 85% of the courtroom was Diddy fans. And I was standing there by myself. And I heard for almost 3 months about how wrong the rest of us were and that he was innocent and they were bringing down the black man of excellence. The government was overreaching and it was BS and the women was whores and the women was money grabbers and the women was not. And they survivors. So at the end of the day, when he got a couple of them, I was like, yeah, they got, yeah. And then after that, when we went upstairs, everybody, oh, he getting a bail, he getting bail. Everybody was celebrating. He gonna get bail. He going home today. We gonna have an FO today. We gonna party today. And then when he didn't get bail, I was like, yes.
That's not good to me.
because I was a minority all this time. You have to understand, when you're a minority in a situation, when you one or two or three people in a courtroom of maybe 50, and you taking a stance, and everybody's telling you wrong, you get those a little bit of, just a little
A win
bit
is
of
a
like,
win.
yeah, I
A
got
win
it.
is a win.
Oh, so when you just get a little bit like, and then stuff like that, and congratulated. I went to Lucci and I'm like, you got. I'm glad. I'm glad that I said I'm not. I told him. I said I'm not. He said, how you doing? I said I'm not as angry as I thought I was gonna be. I said you need to keep an eye on him and take care of him and make sure that he gets help. And he said, of course I will. So you understand. So the needle has been moved, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't. And if they weren't so gloaty and gloating and making the rest of us, the survivors in the room, feel like we were featured crap, maybe I wouldn't have said anything. But they spent 3 months and pushing it in our face of how rotten the government is, how the women wasn't survivors, and how we are stupid. I've even heard of anybody who believe that they're survivors, and anybody believe that he did all this stuff, and anybody, then you stupid. Like my intelligence was questioned, everything was questioned. So yes, I'm gonna have a day. Today was my day, and I didn't even get everything I wanted, but every little win is a win. So that's what happened.
Mama Flip, I have a question. Do you think like being in a courtroom, do you think that people really understood like how emotional abuse works?
No, they didn't. They didn't at all. They don't understand. And then the thing is, they gave Cassie a little bit of credit, but only a minuscule credit as a result of the incontinence. You still have people thinking that the reason why she got her behind whip is because she was going after his phone, that she had his phone. Nobody understand the receipts.
Ridiculous.
We
Yeah.
saw receipts. I saw so much receipts that even the jury didn't saw. We were able to sit there and see what the defense fought to keep away from the jurors. So the jurors don't have never had every receipt. They didn't. They were left out of a lot of stuff. And I said that the jurors, at the end of the day, when the jurors come out and they start looking at all the receipts and all the stuff that they missed, they're gonna be, some of them gonna be pissed off. They're gonna be like, yo, this is some bullshit, right? We should have got this so in order to get an informed decision. But people didn't care. Nobody cared about the survivors. Nobody really cared about what he did per se. Everybody said it's private, it's his personal life. The government overreached. Nobody understood that he used his enterprise in order to maintain this life. And it's not about the sex. It's not about the kink. It's about the illegality of it. As far as
Yes.
I know, you still cannot distribute, if you want to talk about distribute, uh the cocoa. You can't
Hmm.
do the mall. You can't do the E. You can't do that. It's illegal. And you cannot have, even in Florida, which is a stand your ground, which is a open carry case, you cannot have a I guess I could say gun in TikTok because I'm trying to use TikTok language and we're on Twitter. You can't have a gun without serial numbers.
Mm.
You can't do that. There's so much stuff that he did that, guys, you have no idea.
Did
You
they
can't use the.
argue? Do you think that they argued consent properly?
No, I mean, they argue consent, but I don't think they understood consent in the real term of consent, because they feel that if a woman say yes one time, and that means yes
Every
forever.
time. Mm-hmm.
They say and they brought that up, and even and even the defense
That's,
used it.
like that
So
is such a
so she
simple
said yes
thing.
500 times. How did we know that she didn't mean yes of 502? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? The defense is crazy. The defense was insane. He practically
It's
they
nasty.
called he called Cassie a hoe. I'm like, yo, the defense
Wow.
actually said that.
That's
The,
allowed?
like, Cassie, like Cassie was a beautiful woman. You know how Cassie is. She was a beautiful woman, and
Yes.
wanted. And do you remember that the fact is, jury, I want to be real with you. Because he was talking about every day, like, I want to be real with you. She's a beautiful woman. She could get what she wants. And then she dated Diddy. But did you hear what Kid Cudi said? That she dated him too, and that he lied to her. And but she could do that, right? Because she's a beautiful woman and stuff like that. She could get what she wanted. And then she got 20 minutes. Then she got 20 minutes. She got 10 minutes. So
Yeah,
you know
these
she had
lawyers be
that.
playing
And then after
some
that, and do
dirty
you remember
games.
that she also at the same time she dated Michael B. Jordan? I'm like, did this motherfucker?
The art of
He called
persuasion
this
is a
woman
evil
my language.
thing.
Did he call her a hoe in the court?
Yeah.
Yes,
He called her a slide.
yes, he
But
did.
you don't think that the government identified them as prostitutes?
No, the government did not identify them as prostitutes. No, the government stated that he used them, or he should
Coercion.
use them as prostitutes, meaning that he used everyday normal women as his prostitute. He might as well have been a pimp. And I thought that the government should have brought the escorts into play, because the escorts was the one that was transported also, but they didn't do that, and they should have.
This is a complex. It's a lot of.
This is a
Uh-huh.
complex situation. That's okay. I've been fighting this fight for 3 months,
How,
so.
but how can you give consent if you're under the influence of drugs
Not
and
only that, he set it up. He set it up that the women are not, and I tell people all the time, they're not easy survivors. No survivors is easy, right? There's no perfect model of the survivors. We have our mothers, we had our grandmothers, we had our aunts back in the day that stayed with our fathers and our grandfathers and stuff like that
hmm
for worse. So no survivors is there's no equation for being a survivor. You're a survivor as a result of the circumstances or what another person do to you. And I believe both of them were survivors, based on my interpretation of what a survivor is. Right. With that said, no one said they were Madonnas.
right.
No one said that they didn't have an influence. No one said that, like Jan came and introduced herself. She said, "Hey, my name is Jan. I wanted to protect her, and I also wanted somebody who could provide." She already said what she wanted, and I met him, and that's who I wanted, and I went there. So yes, they are culpable. Yes, they should have responsibility. My problem is that they put too much responsibility on the women. That's my problem. And that's the reason why he got three of the cases dropped, because they could not see that the women were survivors. They couldn't see that Diddy had a bigger hold on the women than they had on him, and they refused to see it, and that's why. So I'm happy with my two,
That was a power dynamic.
but they don't see it.
Because if you're a woman and you say you want a provider and
Oh,
what you're getting is a
oh my,
pimp, that's hard. That's a good old fashioned bait and switch.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, and he was fighting them.
Okay, easy.
Okay, I saw the evidence again. I saw the
No,
evidence.
I'm sure. I'm not. Listen, I'm
Recording.
not against nothing. I mean, your belief is your belief. I have no issue.
Yeah,
I
but I
just.
respect it because Flip
Yeah,
is
this
a
is
part of
Flip's
that
thing.
community.
I
So
got you, Flip.
I have
I'll talk
I
my
have to
shit
leave
on
him
my
alone.
floor.
I have to leave it alone. I have to
Flip's
leave it alone.
thing. That's not my
He's
thing.
part of. I get it. I get it. I get it.
Friends, how many of us have done?
You guys are crazy.
I
Shout out to
I
them.
respect it. I respect the movement, but so that's why I.
Yeah.
But I
It
just
ain't no
also
movement.
the movement of respect among men about the hip hop community, because you're not the only one. I'm telling you, they
I
did a
think
poll. They did
you
a poll before the election. Everybody, almost everybody that gave the poll would say no to all the charges. He's not guilty of none of the charges. I look at these motherfuckers. I'm like, yo, are we sitting in the same room together? Are we in the same evidence? What? Did we see the same thing? Did we see the wounds? Did we see the photos together? Did we see the text messages? Did we hear what he said? Did we see what he did to these? Did we see all of that? I guess not. They're talking about the distribution wasn't distributed. They're talking about this is my favorite. My whole favorite part, and I'm gonna stick on this, is when he paid Eddie $100,000 to get rid of the video. They said, and they believe the defense said that he is not the one that he's not. It wasn't bribery, because they the one that told him that I'll take $50,000. So it wasn't bribery. I'm like, these mofos love to. So we just gonna forget about the fact that they chased after Eddie. They called him on the job. They got him on the phone. He said, "No, I can't help you."
What about the
KK went to the
blackmail?
job. Hold on, hold on. I'm gonna get to that. KK went to the job to see him. He met him downstairs. He said, "I came to see Eddie. He doesn't know who you are. He came and met you. He spoke to you, and he said, "Ma'am, I can't do anything about it." But she said, "Is there anything you could do?" "I can't do nothing about it." Then she said, "If there's information," he said, "it looks bad." Then after that, KK leave, and then KK called him again. Then she put him on the phone. Then she found she called him a second that he didn't answer. Then he found his personal cell phone number that nobody's supposed to have. He didn't give the cell phone number. She called him in the personal cell phone number at home. Then she put Diddy on the phone. And after he put Diddy on the phone, he said, "I really need you. I really need your help. I need whatever you could do. You know what it is, man. You know how it is. You know those women, they were tripping. You know, I lost my temper, but you know how these women are. You know how they are." He's like, "Well, I can't help you. I don't have the passcode, but anything you could do, Eddie, anything you could do for me, Anything you could do for me? He's like, okay, I'll call my boss and see what he could do. So I called and he said, whatever you do, I got you. I'll take care of you. So Eddie called the boss, Bill. I think his name is Bill.
How much
Bill,
lip gloss you gonna put on?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mark. Go ahead, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Bill, he called Bill. He said, Bill, they called me again. What's going on? So this is what happened. Now I got on the phone with Puff. Puff called me and everything like that. He said, then what he wants? Didn't you tell him that we can't do nothing? Yeah, I did tell him he couldn't do nothing. So what did he say? He said, hey, if there's anything I could do, if you could help me out, I got you. And the guard said, okay, then it's 50K. I'll make the video go away. I'll get him a copy. Eddie called back. He said he'll do it for 50K. He like, Eddie, my angel, I love you. You're amazing. I knew you could help me, Eddie, my angel. I knew you could help me. You're the man. You're the man. You're the man. So how soon can I get that video? Well, you could get it. You could get it in 24 hours. You could get it 48 hours as soon as I get it. So Eddie goes to the office. He gets a copy of the video. Then he calling. Diddy calling. They calling. They back and forth. You can see the calls. About 10 calls with each other. Where I'm supposed to meet it? Did you get it? Oh my God! Thank God. He goes to the building. Security go. They go upstairs. Inside the room is security, KK, and Diddy. You got the video? Yes, I got the video. Okay, let's see it. They looked at the video. Okay, thank you so much. He said, okay, I'm gonna give you 50K, but I need you to sign an NDA. Sure. Not only do I need you to sign an NDA, I need your driver's license, and I need the driver's license of all the people that was there also. So he called. Hey, I got the 50K. He needs the driver's license. I ain't got it. Well, you gotta get it because I'm here. Right? The security's outside. I'm here. You got to get it. So they go into their personal people records, the personal records, to get the driver's license of the other guards without them knowing. So they get the driver. They
Wow.
sit in it. They sit in it. They sit in it. So he got all he got the driver's license, right? So he cut it out. He's like, Eddie was like, listen, I don't mind doing this for you because Eddie wasn't supposed to get the 50K. The 50K was built. Eddie didn't ask for nothing. I don't mind doing it for you, but I'm concerned. And he's like, what are you concerned about? We're good. Nah, but what if she comes out and she testifies? Give me a minute. He go and call Cassie. He's like, hey, tell him you want this done too. And she's like, oh, I have a movie premiere coming on, and I don't think it's a good time for this story to come out. So I really appreciate your help and support. He's like, okay, I got you. Thank you. She hung up. He hung up. Okay, good. Then he goes in and he counts the money. He come outside. He come outside with the There's a money machine. At this time, KK is there. KK is there in part of it, right? Because she's the one that made the call. So she's there. She's seeing everything. She left. He said, you know something? Do you want something to drink? Eddie's like, nah, I don't need nothing to say. He said, nah, you need something to drink. Go in there and get him my favorite tea. Cause that's Eddie, my angel. He need my favorite tea. You know my special tea. Go get him some.
This
So
reenactment is lit.
what? And then I've been doing this for my TikTok all the time. They love me. They love me because all of a sudden I became Iman Wiggins. I'm like, well, reading it directly, people are getting bored. So I started putting these accents, and people are like, oh my God, you're amazing. So let me finish. So he's like, get my tea. So she go in there and get the tea. He come back. So they're counting the money. So Eddie's looking at the money, 50,000. He put in one back. He said, you know what? I got you. He said, because let me tell you something. This is Eddie. He said, we got Bill. Your girl says okay, but there's this other guy in there. I don't think he's gonna go for it, and I don't know what to tell him because the video gonna disappear. He's like, okay, really? Okay. Here's another 50. Boom. Take care of that other guy. He's like, okay, all right, we got this. He said, let me tell you something though. Be careful. He said, what are you gonna spend the money on? He said, I don't know. He said, don't spend on anything big because the government may be coming looking for you. Not the government. The police may come look for you. They find that the video is missing, right? And you spend the money. So don't spend it on anything big. He's like, okay, I got you. And he left with the money. And then when he got there, he gave 50 to Bill. He gave $20, I think, to Israel, the other guy, and he kept 30. A year later, it was about a year later, he called Diddy because Diddy said, Eddie, my angel, anything that you want from me, you call me. I got you. Because you don't understand. You did that. You're my Eddie, my angel. And here's the funny thing. You know who has his number on her phone? KK. You know what? How KK identified Eddie as Eddie, my angel. So that's how they found him. So he's like, you got anything you need. So a year later, Eddie thinking that he's for real, he called him because he needed a job, and he said, "Puff." That's what happened. So now you want me to say to me in the court of law that it wasn't bribery because he didn't the money, Eddie mentioned the money, so that wasn't bribery. So technically, it's blackmail, right? Even though he's the one that chased the man down, it's blackmail, not bribery. Mm-mm. And also, he wasn't. It wasn't technically bribery for another reason because bribery consists of being afraid to report to the police, to the official. And security guards are not technically known as the police. I'm like, okay, here you go. So when Cassie went to her apartment, Diddy came with a hammer. Open it up! Open it up! She's in there scared. The neighbors called. The police came. Diddy left. They opened the door. The neighbor was like, step back to Carrie, because Carrie was there. So she opened the door, step back. So Carrie stepped back, and they see Cassie on the chair. You can see the report sitting there with a hoodie on, covering her face. They came, ma'am, can I help you? Cassie didn't answer. Carrie's like, she's the one. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to her. Ma'am, do you need any help? She didn't answer. Ma'am, can you give me your ID? And she didn't answer. It took a minute. I think she said nothing like, I don't need no help. The cops was like, there's nothing we could do. The guy wasn't there. The person wasn't there. Whoever was causing the noise is not there. So here's my card. Gave it to Carrie. Here's my card. If she changed her mind or she need anything, let me know. Right? Good. Carrie took a picture. Click, click. And sent a picture of that to Carrie. I mean, to KK. And said the police was here. The police was here because your boy is wilding. Tell him the police was here. So that happened immediately after. So they know the police was there. So of course, obviously, logically, common sense, because the police showed up at the house. And also the guy, that I forget to tell you, that the guy had to string up Diddy because Diddy tried to grab one of the manager's phone because he thought the manager was taking a picture. So the manager came upstairs and talked to him and say, hey, we're going to have to charge you for what you did here. And he said, I'm going to take, he took out the phone just in order to call downstairs to call a housekeeper. Diddy grabbed the man, handed the phone, and the guard took up Diddy and pushed him against the wall. Diddy didn't talk about that though, right? That's what happened. He's like, yo, get off his phone. So Diddy let go of the phone. He was like, well, he's filming me. And the guy's like, I'm not filming you. Look, I'm just calling the housekeeper. Chill. So he already knew he had to do that. The guy said, I'm going to call the cops on you if you don't pack up because it's over time. 1 o'clock. You already pulled up the man. You already destroyed property. And you telling me that this man wasn't afraid that the police was going to come? And the police did show up. So you want to tell me now that he wasn't afraid the police would come? The only reason why he did all this is for his publicity. That's what you want to tell me. After all this proof that he was afraid of the popo coming. He even he texted Cassie. He said, yo, call me. The police is coming. They're calling the police. Call me. You going to leave me here? Another text. You going to leave me here? The police is on the way. Call me. The police is here. Call me. The police is coming up. Call me. Are you going to leave me here? Call me. I'm about to be arrested. That's all that happened. So you want me to tell me that bribery does not apply to this case because he was only doing it to protect his family? It's like shit like that. And let's talk about the blackmail. Who's sorry? You guys still here? Am I giving y'all too much?
Oh no, it's giving campfire energy. I love it.
Okay. I hope Flip is okay because I took over his live. Flip, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm editing. Go ahead.
Okay. So let's talk about let's talk about the blackmail. So you want to tell me now which blackmail? Because you asked me about the blackmail. So which blackmail are we talking about?
With Cassie's mother.
Okay. So oh Lord have mercy. Oh, she just did it. Oh, it's a conspiracy. Let's talk about the conspiracy. So apparently Cassie was broke, or she wanted to buy some bags. This is what's happening in the courtroom, right? So instead of asking because Diddy and her was falling out. So what she did, she prepared this elaborate plan And she wrote an email to her mother under the fake name so that her mother could take the loan out and give her the money, right? Because she needed to buy something or she needed to pay bills, right? And Diddy wasn't giving the money. And once Diddy found out, he was such an amazing good guy that he gave the money back. That's the conspiracy. So let's talk about what really happened. So anyway, Cassie was dating Kid Cudi. Diddy and her broke up. It was clearly shown that broke up because there was some messages between them like, I'm sad, are you sad? I'm sad. I can't believe it. Right? There was some messages. Now, I have to be careful because I don't know if the message happened before or after, but either way, it was understood that they were broken up at that time. Something happened to them. It was understood. It was clearly said, we were on a break. That's it. We out. I'm done. She started dating Kid Cudi. So when she was dating Kid Cudi, she was telling the truth that she wasn't dating. She wasn't seeing Diddy at the time. Capricorn confirmed that because Capricorn found out that she was seeing Diddy, and it was Capricorn that gave her the boner phone because she's like, "You over here tripping, girl? You tripping?" Because let me tell you why I know for a fact that she felt comfortable because she went out. Did Capricorn was invited to Kid Cudi house for an event. They were dating, right? And Capricorn said at the time, as far as I know, this is what I remember. I will go back, but she was actually seeing him, but we were afraid of Diddy. So when I saw the text between them, I'm like, girl, are you tripping? Are you crazy? You can't be texting this man on this man phone. He's paying all our bills. You can't be telling him that all this stuff that you're gonna meet this guy somewhere. You know, he's still like out there looking out, thinking that you part of whatever you part of. You can't do that. So she got him a burner phone. And they started talking to each other. The only thing is that Diddy checks phone records. So finally he got the phone, not the burner phone, he got the phone record because she checked it. Because he's a spy, because he's an agent, and he records everybody. And that's the reason why we had a lot of these recordings, because him and KK recorded everybody without their permission, without their knowledge. But let's not talk about that. So anyway, so he found out that she was dating Kid Cudi by one of the texts, because that's the only way. So he approached Cassie and rang her up and was like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on with this guy? What the hell is this?" She gets scared. And she didn't want to be, touched. And he probably popped out a few times. And she's like, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. He's like, I see this. Look at you dating this man. You cheat on me. You're busy. This is him. And so she tell him, where the man at? And the defense, apparently him and Kid Cudi was boys. That was one of his men's. How you dating my girl when you know that's my girl? Kid Cudi's like, yo, y'all broke up. But that's not the point. So anyway, he get mad. He gets the address. So instead of him taking his sorry behind with his guard to Kid Cudi, he decides that he's going to go get Capricorn. He like, yo, I know you and her was talking about this guy, and you have the nerve to be aware that she fucking around with this guy. You ain't tell me. Get dressed. We're going to get this man. This is what she said. 5:30 in the morning. So she had to get dressed. So she had to get dressed, and she had to go over there. And then she said that he had the pope. He had the pew pew in his hand. He had the pew pew in his hand. She said he wasn't pointing it, but he was looking. He was mad. He was pissed. He was daddy's like, yo, we gonna get this nigga. We gonna get this nigga. I'm on the live this nigga because he ain't mine. That's mine. So anyway, she get up. She get in the car. She said, okay, so she's scared because he knew because I ain't giving him the dress. I didn't give him the dress, so I don't know how he knew the dress. So I get there. As soon as I get there, he gets out. Him and the security guard gets out. As soon as him and the security guard gets out, I called him. I'm like, yo, where you at? He's like, I'm here with Cass. He's like, yo, he there in your house. He's like, that nigga in my house. Oh hell nah, this gone too far. I'm on my way. No, don't go, don't come. He's in there. Click. She called back. Cassie on the phone. She's like, yo, tell him not to come. It's too late. He's out of here. So that's Capricorn. Cassie, what did you do When you found out he left, as soon as he left, I called him. I called Kid Cudi and said, "You gotta come and pick me up right now, cause Diddy know where you live, and he's coming. He's coming. I don't know what he's gonna do." And Kid Cudi's like, "Yo, what the fuck is doing you and Diddy? I don't give a damn. I thought you broke up, but no, you gotta come and get me." She said she was so terrified. I left everything and went to get her and took her to a safe place. So that's Kid Cudi. So let's get back to Capricorn. Capricorn goes. So she's sitting outside. She's sitting outside. This whole thing happened. They broke up. They had this whole big fight. So she go to Kid Cudi. She go to the house, and they spend Christmas together, right? And after they spend Christmas together, he broke up with her. He said, "It's too much. I'm over it. It's too much." It was around during that time period, and I don't know if it was the exact time period because I don't know why Kid Cudi wouldn't have mentioned it, but it was around that time period that she ended up, because he was upset about the relationship, and he said to her, "I'm going to get this man hurt, and I'm going to get his car blown up," right? So she said, "Okay, he meant business, and I'm going to release your tape." So she said he meant business. So I knew that I needed to have evidence. So I emailed my mom. I CC'd KK, and I say, Puff Combs, Sean Combs. And of course, the defense used that after the fact. Why did she say Sean Combs? Why did she use his government? Why did he just call her Puffy? What was he doing? She was reading. She was writing a novel. You know, all of this stuff was a joke for everything like this. It was a joke with the defense. That's why they got the stand and applaud, because they made everything funny. So anyway, so she wrote, Sean Combs it says that he's going to not only hurt me, he's going to release my sex tapes, and he's going to hurt Scott as a result of us dating. That's an email that she sent. She CC'd, unless I pay him $20,000. That's an email to send to the mother. So the mother's freaking out because she didn't know. She knew they were dating. She knew she moved from New York to be with him. She hasn't seen him for a while. As far as she's concerned, they have a great relationship. She didn't know. The only time that she was even concerned a little bit is when she saw some type of article that they got into a fight and she thought it was them, but it was a blind article. So she didn't know it was actually them. When she called Cassie, Cassie like, "No, that's not us, Mom. That's not us. And don't need to be reading that stuff. We good." So all of a sudden I get this text from my daughter that this man is talking about sex tape. What sex tape? What are we talking about here? And he's demanding $20,000. I ain't got $20,000. So what, man? What did you do? I had to go get it. So how did you get it? I had to go to the bank and get a line of equity out of my house. And what happened next? I got another email with the link to send the money. So wait a minute. How do you know that the money was meant for Diddy? That didn't mean anybody else. Because the link says Bad Boy Entertainment. And that's where the money went. That's where I sent it. And what happened after that? 4 days later, I got my money back. So instead of people thinking that, hold up, okay, they went to the mom house. She broke with Kid Cudi. She ended up getting together with him. And because for him to make peace, he sent the money back because she came back to him. Unless all of us thinking that, y'all think it's a whole big conspiracy. And she wanted the money. And none of this shit happened. And she wanted to buy bills and pay bills and buy back. Now, Mama Dukes now, she didn't know this thing was happening. So the next time she sees old girl, and I think it was the same time, but I'm not 100% sure because the pictures was taken. I need to go back. But the mom had pictures because he beat her aunt, and she had pictures of the wounds in the on the her back and her legs where she was bruised up, and she took pictures of that. Right. One time he punched her so bad, he knocked her so bad that she had a big gush wound, open wound in her face because he knocked her in her head, hit the corner of the bed, and that's because of what happened with because he got mad at her, and Mia and his friend Dante had to jump on his back because Mia thought that he was gonna unalive her. We talking about receipts. We talking about photos. We talking about text messages. We talking about this is stuff that I saw for 3 months. So people to come and tell me that they're trying to ruin the man of black excellence and the women, and this is my favorite part. I don't know if Flip was there. Look at them. Look at those 5 white women there. They're all 5 Karens. They're upset. They came after a black man. They shouldn't have. I'm like, yo, if you guys don't spare me, even to the last moment, even to the last moment. But they got quiet when he didn't get the bell, though. But they got quiet. They're like, oh my God. And you should have seen Diddy's face. Diddy was shocked when the judge was like, yo, thank you for coming in. I received your proposals and I read both. And my decision is bell denied. He said three to four, six. I'm like, oh my God. The bell denied. Oh my God. And I was like, yes, sir.
So they're talking about he won't get a hearing until
Well, they
October,
trying to push it.
and they're trying to get an earlier. Yeah.
I hope Comey don't do it because let me tell you what your friend, the defense attorney, Mark did. So anyway, Mark is pissed. He spent 40 minutes talking about why he should get because he's a good guy, he's a model citizen. He brought up Kim Porter. You see his daughters here, his beautiful children, not to pull the heartstrings, but their mother died. And he's the only parent they know. I said, motherfucker, excuse me, they're 18 years old and going to college. What we talking about here? But poor Tito, they need their dad. And you know something? He's so smart and intelligent that he would never, once he get out of that, out of here, he would never defy the law again. He will listen to everything your honor says. I believe in him. And he's not stupid enough to do it again. And by the way, your honor, the 2 little charges he got that we find not guilty on, that's just 2 little bitty charges. The other 3 was the real thing, and he's innocent. So to be honest with you, the other 2 is really not relevant. He's actually innocent, Your Honor, and he should really not be here because those other 2, that was just a give me. That was just a procedure, but he really, all the other big things, Your Honor, you shouldn't take the other 2 guilty charges into consideration because it's really nothing. Because I've never heard of anybody that had those charges that was a user. Because now he's calling the women prostitutes. Now you understand what I'm saying? I never knew that the user of prostitute was actually arrested. It's actually a pimp, and I'm like, yo, motherfucker, he is the pimp because obviously he was using them and treating them as prostitutes. But let me not go. I stand my hand. I raise my hand. I raise my hand. So, so Your Honor, he should be released, and he's a good guy, and he gave up his planes, and three his family members here is going to sign off on him, and we're going to keep an eye on him, and you could trust us, our word of honor. So the government talked, and they say, um, no. He's violent criminal. He should stay in jail. And the judge came in. He's like, okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. Let's talk about this. So you telling me that as a result of the jury finding him innocent on 3 and he has 2 counts of guilty that I shouldn't consider the 2 counts of guilty when the 2 counts of guilty was part of the 5 charges and those are still important? I disagree. Also, you spent the entire time saying to our juror, convincing our juror, you even brought the Instagram post that Cassie Ventura saying that it is the DV that matters. You sat here and you told the court and you told the jury that this is violent man and you concur. And if it was about domestic violence, then he should be in jail. You concurred to that. You gave me other examples in which indicate when he was violent. And you was like, yeah, he got into a little fight. Yeah, you saw about when he wanted to fight different people. You spent the whole time saying that it's not a RICO. It's a man who has issues with violence and DV, and yet you want me to let him go. And the burden of proof to prove to me that not be a hindrance in our society is on the defendant, and you haven't proven that. He's like, but Your Honor, no, because you can't have it both ways. Because you can't prove to me that he is not a danger to at least one person instead of society. And you were there when we talked about when he hurt Cassie, because you said it. And you said it was an incident of domestic violence. So no, he can't be left out because he cannot prove to me after everything I've seen that he will not be violent. So that's one point. Second point is the third point. So the first one was the case is not big. The second point is that, and then you said that he could be trusted. How can I trust him when he got the charge on November when the federal government came and raided his and issued the warrant? He knew for a fact that there was an open case against him. So instead of him changing his life at that time, he chose to continue with the same offenses that he's being charged with. Not only did he have proof in which he had the FOs, and he continued in that lifestyle, he also got into a massive fight with one of the victims in which he hurt her on June 2024. And if that wasn't a big issue, the reason why the officers arrested him early prior to him turning himself in is because they found out that he was setting up another event of why he was here. And he had drugs in his hotel, and Jane was on the way. The victim was on the way to his house. So no, bail denied. Ooh, everybody's like, "Oh my god, oh my god, they won't let the black man out. The government and the
Where did
judge
you
is
learn to tell a story like this,
crooked."
Mama Flip? Like what?
These motherfuckers, like yo, and I had to sit here for all of
I'm
that
sitting on the
nonsense.
edge of my bed, and then what? What happened
I had to
next?
sit there. I have so much more to tell you guys. You have no idea. I mean, my TikTok is on pause for 7 days, but I'm gonna do this whole reenactment on YouTube. I have so much to tell you guys. You have no idea what I've seen.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, they split the baby in half. They gave him two so he could sit his ass down and hopefully he get help, and they did away with the other three. But I think the reason why they did away with the other three is not because there wasn't evidence there. It's because the jury didn't want to see it. The jury held the women more accountable because they kept on going back, and they didn't because there was
So
way
they
too
don't
much evidence.
understand the cycle
Also,
of abuse. So they didn't bring a psychologist up
they did.
there.
They did. They didn't believe her. They did. They did. They
They
brought
didn't
an
believe.
amazing
They didn't
psychologist.
believe the
They didn't believe her.
psychologist.
They didn't believe the psychiatrist because she explained the whole thing. She explained the cycle of abuse. She explained about love bombing. She explained about trauma bonding. She did a great job, but everybody was like, "Oh, because they said because so the defense, like you see, the defense role was to make everyone look smaller and to disrespect everybody, including the survivor." And then he did a great job. He's like, she ain't all that.
Very,
She's stubborn.
very
Getting
cynical.
paid 6,000. She's getting paid 6,000 a day just to come here and lie to you. You don't believe in that mobile jumbo mojo jumbo psychology, do you? It's all a
But guess
lie.
what? If the psychology worked to their advantage, they would be
Oh yeah,
they
because guess
would
what?
be
They proved that
garnering the most respect for it.
but guess what? The government hired her for a case. I mean, the defense hired one of the defense attorney hired her for a case. But at the end of the day, she didn't continue the case, and she said, I can't talk about why I wasn't continuing the case." But the defense attorney actually hired her to talk to one of the survivors in their case, a Diddy defense. So now they had to turn around and say, "Oh, but we didn't hire you." I'm
So
like,
in
"Well,
your
you hired
opinion,
her."
was the plaintiff was the people the plaintiff whoever was arguing the case, the litigator, were they just out litigated by Diddy's people?
No, no, the government was amazing. Let me tell you why the government was amazing. The fact that they got two with two very damaging victims. Because even though I support Cassie and Jane, they were damaging. They were damaged.
Right.
Also, Bonda, they proved that Bonda metadata when she took the picture of the abuse, and I believe it did happen, and she did photos, sent it to herself, but she didn't send it to herself the day that it happened, and we're talking about like 10 years ago. They proved Nicole proved that the Diddy was in New York and New Jersey during that time. That was amazing. That was the Mason moment, a Perry Mason moment that the judge talk about all the time and stuff
Mm.
like that. They did an amazing job. The fact that all the stuff that they brought and they treated these women and called these women all kind of whores and sluts and prostitutes, and they kept on showing the FO video over and over and over again to the point that the special agent, both the female special agent and the male special agent, they couldn't even look at it. They kept on looking on the side, taking the earphone off. They couldn't look away because they deliberately showed it to the jury over and over again so they could prove the point that the girls enjoyed themselves. They're not looking as if they were under influence, but you want to prove that they've been doing this for hours. And look at them. He's a good guy. He's just making their life good. He's just giving them a little piece to make them happy, right? They couldn't go. Oh, they can't transcend that. So you have all of that, including the manpower, including his family. The fact that they got two was amazing for me
I just don't understand how they could paint Cassie and James to be professional whores and then absolve Diddy at the same time.
because he was they kept on coming back. And he was paying. He was help paying for them. He was paying. He gave Jane a $10 million house and stuff like that, and she kept on
But
coming
that's
back.
where the
And Jane
coercion comes in.
was
That's
Cassie was with him for 11 years. They don't get the concept.
yeah,
They
they
don't
don't grasp it. Yeah.
can't explain
We
it. So the only
well,
way I
you
can
know,
explain it to people, the only way I can explain it to people, because I was arguing all day outside, is I think about our mothers, our aunts, our grandmother that stayed with our fathers. I said, because if you don't remember the stuff that they went through with our fathers and uncles and stuff like that, then that means you were lucky. That means you have an ideal lifestyle, because a lot of them did not call the police either, and a lot of them did not leave either. So think about that.
well,
But they can't.
let a lot of men tell it today, and they say, "Well, my grandmother's a way better woman than these women because she stayed with her
Really.
husband for 40 years," and but their
Uh-huh.
grandmother just didn't tell them what
But
they
that's
were
the point.
going through.
No, no, no. And a lot of them did know. A lot of them knew that their grandmother and their parents. I'm talking about the ones that knew.
Right.
You explain to me, if you're telling me that those women, these women today are so bad that they stayed. Explain your mother, your auntie, your
Hmm.
grandmother, your older sister that stayed with their men's when they did the same thing. And if you don't have that experience, then you're lucky. Because a lot of women don't leave. A lot of women don't call police. They don't. This is why we have the problem that we have today.
And the women that do leave, they
A
usually
lot of them
end up
come
in
back,
poverty because they
but
have very limited
statistically,
resources outside of
st-
that man.
st- yeah, statistically, because I would,
Yeah,
and I have to call my
So,
statistically.
friend.
so you guys saying that women should put up with abuse instead of going to poverty?
No, I'm just
No,
saying that that
that
is a deterrent. I'm not saying that they shouldn't leave. I'm just saying that a
they
lot of
should.
people worry about their how they're going to fare.
I mean, that's the case, but a lot of them also have trauma bonding. They love these guys.
That too.
Statistically, it take 5 to 10 times, and I got it from the. If you know, you know. My friend is really high up into this in this industry. She's one of them, and we all know because I've done the work. Also, it takes 5 to 10 times for a woman to finally leave an abusive
That's
relationship.
true.
It's just it is. There's a lot of components into it. There's a lot of it, and the fact is that they loved him. They said it. They said it clearly. We loved him. He was great. When he was great, he was great. He was amazing. He was a provider. He was fun. He was charming. He was sexy. And he was according to Jane, he was an amazing, passionate lover. According to Jane. I'm like, girl, if you don't stop with the fucking lover thing,
Right.
Jane was a
I
the
ain't
Jane
gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. That's kind of hate from you.
I'm saying Jay was complicated for me because I'm like, yo, girl, if you don't stop with the whole lover shit when we try to put this man in jail, I'm gonna slap you up. So she was complicated. It's not hate. I'm
Didn't
just
she have an
unfortunate
interview
she
with
love her.
Tasha K? That's the young lady that.
No, no, that's Gina. That's Gina. And she came out. Gina came out yesterday. I hope that Gina's okay
Okay.
because now he's gonna come out. Gina was like, "Oh, I was never really scared of him. He didn't. If he comes out tomorrow, I'll be okay. Yeah, sure. After you said that, what you said to Tasha K,
Hmm.
now all of a sudden you gonna be good, Gina. You go ahead and be good. They didn't bring Gina in. Gina was the third witness, and they decided not to bring her in because Gina's cuckoo for cocoa puffs.
Yeah. She's very,
So yeah,
yeah.
it was a lot going on. Any other questions? I'm not even looking at the chat. Anyone have questions that want me to reenact what's going on?
Nobody got question for you, mommy.
Um,
Flip.
A lot of stuff happened that you guys are not aware of. I'm the one that sat there every single day for over 3 months. I know exactly what you guys
What
didn't
happened to
see.
all the
Listen, to
celebrities they said that were also in the room? What?
there was no celebrities in the room. There was no indication of celebrity in the room
Okay.
or anybody under 18. There was nothing. There was no evidence that was shown to prove that.
Okay.
And then that's where they kept it. Then there wasn't. That's why another thing about the government. The government wasn't playing with this case. They wasn't trying to make. They wasn't trying to make it anything but what it is. Every piece of every piece of evidence, every piece of the charge, everything, all the charge, everything that they wrote out, they had receipts for across the board.
Right.
They did a diagram. It was
What
beautiful.
about the
Yo, what about the
alleged
white?
tapes?
What about the white man that asked me if I knew Bread Man? Behind us.
Oh yeah, yeah,
What?
that was funny. Like because he watched you. He's on he talked that. Oh, he got mad at me because he disrespected my. Oh, you would have been mad at him. You would have checked him. You would have probably yoked him up. He disrespected my service.
Oh
I,
no.
they got very upset when Diddy didn't get bail. So I was having a good time. So he was like, oh, that's why, and that the government kept him back, and it's the government he's the one that called the prosecutor. Look at those five Karens. They upset. Blah, blah, blah.
Yo, that was mad. The white man's called the white.
What?
Look at those
That
Not a
six
white
Karens.
man calling you a Karen. That's
yeah, he called no, not calling me,
No,
but
he
he
didn't
was
call my mama
government
Karen.
a
Nah,
Karen.
but
Nah,
what?
he called the
he said
Oh,
he
government.
listened
okay.
to my spaces. He said he listened to the spaces. He
Yeah.
know Bread Man.
He probably in the spaces now. So he was like, so we were leaving
Now he
and
know
stuff like
bread
that.
man.
I said, I'm glad. I said, I don't know about the rest of y'all. I'm glad he didn't get bail. So he got offended. He's like, yeah, because you support. He said something about support, and then he said, oh, and like the Democratic parties didn't do what they did. So obviously, I'm a Democrat because I'm a black woman, right? Because I didn't say I was a Democrat, but obviously, you know. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, if you think you're gonna hurt my feelings by saying something about the Democrats, you are sadly mistaken, right? You were sadly mistaken. And then we started. He said something about the military and the fact that the Democrats didn't do anything for the military, something like that. I said, well, I am former Marine, I am former military, and I'm a veteran and stuff like that. And then he's like, well, he said something else. At the end of the day, like he said a very slight remark about military. I was like, yeah, that you were the military and stuff like that. Looking at like the way I took it, like looking at me. I can't remember the exact word, but
He
looking
was
at me
trying to
like,
get a
yeah, like you
reaction
were the
from you
military.
because he kept trying
No, no, he
different
got
tactics.
it. No, he got it, and I looked at him. He said, "But thank you for your service." I'm like, "Nah, no, you can't disrespect me about my service and then say thank you." He's like, "Oh, I didn't disrespect your service." I said, "Yes, you did." He's like, "Oh no, I didn't." I said, "And you did." And you did, and we could continue if you want to. He's like, no, peace, peace, never mind. Disregard, you're right. I said, and I am. And I walked away. I'm like, yo, you playing with me. You playing in my face. I said, first, because I told him straight up, I said, if you think disrespecting a Democrat because you think I'm a Democrat is going to piss me off, it's not. You could disrespect, but I did get annoyed when he talked about my military service. He said something. I'm like, oh, and then, but thank you for your service. Don't and thank you for my service. And then you go like, oh, I didn't disrespect your service. Yes, you did.
It sounds
Because
like
you,
there
you,
was a
you,
lot of jerks out there, huh?
what? There was so much. I was a minority.
Yeah.
Axe flip, maybe three or
Wow.
four advocate, and I was the most vocal of them because everybody kept it in and not me. I'm like, yeah, I'm here for the survivors. And people will come to me and say, what do you think? I said, you don't want to talk to me. I'm here for the survivors. Oh, Diddy is getting out. Yay. You don't want to talk to me. I think he should have been charged for 5. He's getting a bail. Nope. I don't think he should get bail. They're like, God damn.
Now wait, I got a question. Do you think that you were the minority because of
Yes.
misogyny or because of people being obsessed with celebrity culture?
Celebrity culture as a result because a lot of the women that was there they hated on Cassie and
Yeah,
Jane.
but
They were really
women are also
wrong.
misogynists too. There's a lot of female misogynists.
Okay, what is the definition of misogynist? So because maybe I'm not.
Hate for
I understand.
hate for women.
For men,
And there's a lot of women that
huh?
have hate for women and they help
Yeah, as
hold
a
up
result.
the patriarchy and they're
So,
misogynists for
so we said
sure.
the thing. Yes, is as a result of the
Mhm.
hatred of Cassie. They feel that Cassie and Jane were money grabbing whores.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. And
Mhm.
that they were very happy to do the freak off for many years until Diddy started going out with other women and they got jealous and they got upset and all of a sudden they didn't want to do the freak off anymore. And as a result, this is why we're here. The
Mm.
reason why. Here it's not because of the freak off. The reason why we're here is because Diddy did a lot of things to Cassie in the Intercontinental Hotel. Yeah, her lawsuit did have something to do with it because it described what happened.
But he wasn't on trial for that.
No, let me finish, and I'm gonna get to that. So it started with the lawsuit, but they didn't have enough. They let it go. Then they saw the video. I don't know who released the video. They said it was the government. They said it was that they released. They got the video. It was proof. Then they made the connection of the fact the reason why he was popping her, dragging her back to the room is because Jules was inside, and they just finished an FO. Not only did they just finish an FO, he was dragging her back because he didn't finish. Right? So I'm gonna pause it there because there's a text message that is shared in the transcript that I'm gonna describe to you guys to understand exactly what's going on because there's a lot of things that the jury did not get immediately. So anyway, so he dragged her inside. So when they found her, they were like, "Whoa, what's up with this? What's up with this video?" That's when they started putting two and two together, and that's when they talked to Cassie, and Cassie told them everything that was going on. Now, what he was charged about was trafficking, traveling, right, kidnapping, arson. The Mann Act, right, was transport and
You breaking up, Mama
Your phone messing up,
Flip.
mommy.
you know, hear me? Can you hear me?
I
I
hear you
hear,
better now.
yeah,
Go ahead.
Okay.
better.
As a result of that, so we had five charges, right? Now, what he's in trouble for, and I say this over and over again, if he hired professionals, that would have been one thing, right? But it wasn't really about the sex, and the government said that it's not our job is not to shame him or talk about alternative uh lifestyle. Our job is to tell you the means that he went, the illegal means that he went in order to maintain the lifestyle. What he did is he used his corporate company card and businesses to pay for the lifestyle. He used it to pay for the hotels. He used his money to buy drugs. He uses he uses money to pay for prostitutes. Now, people will say, well, Mama Flip, he used his personal account, his own money. But we have receipts that indicates to us that he used his corporate credit card for hotels that host the freak off, right? How do we know this, Mama Flip? Because the hotel bills was over $100,000 because he damaged a hotel for over almost $100,000. Also, what else did he use the corporate card? He used it to fly in the escorts back and forth. That's why he used a corporate card. And then what he would do, he would use his personal business account in order to pay back the credit card. But you already committed the offense. That's one. Second thing, what about the drugs? He wasn't selling them. He wasn't making money. How can it be illegal? Ladies and gentlemen, according to the United States of America, in which we live, cocaine, the cocoa is illegal. The mob is still illegal. The ecstasy is still illegal. These are illegal. You cannot give other people illegal drugs. The only thing you could possibly do is marijuana. That is that's legal. Everything else is illegal. Oh, it's not a big deal. It's just personal use. So is it personal use? Then the mofo would have used it on himself by him giving it to other people. That's called distribution. But again, he wasn't found guilty of
Mm.
that, right? He wasn't found guilty of that, right? But this is what the government had, right? Okay, so then we had the distribution. Now, Kid Cudi with the arson, we already know what time it is. The police officer saw his car in the area because he took out the driver's license. And unless the police officer decided he's going to travel back in time in 2025 to go there and submit a report, then that happened. But of course, we couldn't prove that Diddy was there. Of course, Diddy wasn't there. Of course, his car was there by itself or with a ghost in front of Kid Cudi's house after he threatened he was going to unalive him. But of course, we're not going to believe the victims. Remember, all of them are full of shit. They're all about money and hungry. Who wants to keep up? So you have that, right? So now, what else did he do wrong? Okay, so we had the prostitutes, right? We have the drugs. We have the using the businesses, right? And then we have coercion. How did we prove coercion? Because the women said no. Now, a lot of people will come back and say, well, the women later on said yes. But if he took their no for an answer the first time, then we probably wouldn't have been here. Because if he took said if when Cassie said I want to leave, and he let her go and get in the elevator and go to his house, then we wouldn't have had the video. And not only that, let me tell you what Diddy did do. So when she reached out to him and she said, "You hurt me. I'm somebody's daughter. Why would you do this to me, Diddy? You hurt me. I'm somebody's daughter. You treat me like I'm like just a prostitute, like I'm a whore and stuff like that. You're supposed to love me. You told me that you love me, but you don't. Why are you doing this to me? You know, and I love you and I do everything I can to make you happy. Why did it? Tomorrow is my most important day. You know, tomorrow is my important day. It's my day. And now I can't enjoy it because now I have a black eye because of what you did to me." So this is Cassie and this is Diddy in the text. "If you motherfucking think that we spent all that time in there and I couldn't get off hours, and I couldn't get my shit rocked. I couldn't get off, and you think that's okay? I pay all that money. You're lucky. Because if it was any other woman, they'll be happy to do these little things. All this time, hours upon hours, you doing it, and I couldn't get my rock off, and you wanted to leave?" Let the motherfucker text her when she was complaining that he did all that. So that's
Okay.
what
Okay, mommy. You did it. You did it.
happened. I gave you too much. But there's a lot more, guys. Please follow Mama Flip Slot channels. Y'all gonna hear all this again and then more. I promise you. But yeah, if nobody else have any questions, I got there.
Nobody got no questions for you.
And that's what happened. So I'm happy that he got at least two. They did an amazing job because at least we got two. I
Nah,
would have been
she's
devastated.
thorough with it. I don't think it's hard to question that. She left no stone unturned.
Yeah, I'm glad we got the two out of the, because I was afraid that when they said non get to the first time, the second time, I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe they're gonna let this motherfucker, excuse my language, because he is an entity. I can't believe they're gonna let him out. And again, I could say that because I saw all the evidence and I saw how bad he was. He's a bad guy, guys. He's a very, very bad guy. He's a very troubled guy. He does need support. He does need services, and he does need mental health services, and the family needs to hold him accountable and make sure he get that service. But I can tell you another thing before I go: the government is not over with Sean Diddy Puffy Love Combs. If he doesn't change his life, they are going to come after him again, and next time he's not going to be so lucky. You see, Kells got away with it the first time, and Kells is in jail now.
Yeah.
Cosby got away
And
with
they
it the
just
first
denied
time.
his last appeal, I heard, too.
Oh, okay. Cosby got away with it the first time, and he, even though he spent a short amount of time, he's still in the
Off a technicality, off the
Epstein.
mishandling of some type
Yeah,
of evidence.
Epstein got away with it the first time, and then he's unalive. Y'all keep
Hmm.
playing around with the government if y'all want to, but I do think that there's a possibility that they're gonna pay Trump for a pardon. So there's probably that conversation. So he may get a pardon for that. So yeah, he needs to be very careful, walk very light, because the government ain't playing for him. To the point that the judge was like, "Sit your ass down, no bell," and I landed my plane. All right, my love.
Well, all right, mommy. Good. You did it. I don't agree with nothing you said, but salute.
Salute, guys. Thank you so much
Mommy,
for
I
hearing
love
Thank
you,
you,
man. Thank
Mama
you. Thank you for
Flip.
that
me.
show,
Love
mommy.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, darling. Call me anytime. And
I
I'm
got you,
supposed to
mommy.
do
I'll
a
call
call.
you tomorrow.
Where's Phil at? Me and Phil supposed to have a conversation. I have to do the drama for Phil because we were supposed to do it before the election. So tell Phil I say hi, and then we could get in a conversation to talk about after the
Okay,
drama.
mommy. Got you. Yeah, yeah. I can't wait to hear you and Phil's, you know,
Get it to
what
it.
y'all
I
do.
want to hear that, too. Where you at, Philly?
All right, my love.